Big news in the MMA world today. Khamzat Chimaev has made it clear whose corner he'd be in if Arman Tsarukyan ever fought Ilia Topuria. Plus, Anderson Silva vs. Chris Weidman 3 is officially happening, but this time, not inside the Octagon. And we've also got fresh updates from Alex Pereira, Dana White, Michael Bisping, and more. Alright guys, let's get into it. We kick things off with some interesting analysis from Dan Hooker, who recently gave his thoughts on Mateusz Gamrot's loss to Charles Oliveira at UFC Rio. Hooker believes Gamrot made one crucial error before the fight even began. According to Hooker, Gamrot burned unnecessary energy sprinting to the cage, which might have affected his performance. Oliveira submitted Gamrot in the second round, the first time Gamrot has ever been finished in his professional career. Meanwhile, Alex Pereira has revealed what's next for him after his UFC run, and it involves a different set of gloves. Speaking with ConnectCast, Pereira confirmed his intentions to transition into boxing. He said, "I'm definitely going to box. I made it clear that I want to fight boxing. When I got into kickboxing, they didn't believe me. MMA, same thing. Boxing, they'll say the same. I'm used to it." When asked about opponents, Pereira didn't name anyone specifically, saying he just wants a challenge and to prove himself in a new arena. This move could set up some blockbuster crossover fights, especially with his power and striking pedigree. Over in Saudi Arabia, Dana White sat down at the Joy Forum and gave fans some real insight into what drives UFC pay-per-view sales, and surprisingly, it's not just knockouts and records. Dana emphasized that storytelling is the key. He pointed to Khabib Nurmagomedov's faith and his late father's influence as an example of the kind of authentic narratives that connect deeply with fans. He compared Khabib's story to Conor McGregor's, both completely different, yet equally compelling.
I mean, guys, and the stories are so different. Like, Conor McGregor's story was very different than Khabib Nurmagomedov's story.
Right.
And yet you let them both kind of tell their stories authentically.
Whoever you are and wherever you're from, that's what I'm selling.
That's what you're selling?
Yep.
Why?
That's because it's real. It's like we were just talking about these guys talking about being authentic and Muhammad Ali being authentic. Whoever you are, and you know, Khabib. When you look at Khabib and how into his faith he is, and his father who got him started. Everybody has a great story, and what makes sports great are when you're good at telling these stories. And everything that ever happened from one fight, whether a win or a loss, the battle that led up to it, all the controversy around, it's people could stay inside this UFC bubble. And you get sucked in, and then I turn my friend onto it, and then he becomes a fan, and that's how it grew.
Because of the authenticity.
100%.
According to Dana, these human stories are what draw people in, keep them engaged, and ultimately make fights must-see events. Next up, Michael Bisping has given his prediction for this weekend's main event between Reinier de Ridder and Brendan Allen at UFC Vancouver. On his Believe You Me podcast, Bisping called de Ridder the biggest stylistic threat to Khamzat Chimaev at middleweight and predicted a submission win for RDR.
I think if RDR gets a win, and I'll just throw it out there, no offense to Brendan, he's great. I think he does. I think he wins this fight. I think RDR beats Brendan Allen. If he gets the shot next, it'd be almost sod's law for Khamzat Chimaev, because out of everyone at 185, RDR is the guy that's got the most stylistic problems for Khamzat Chimaev.
You don't think it would have been Fluffy if he was healthy?
I was just going to say there's Fluffy as well.
Well, without him, yeah.
But RDR, if he gets taken down, he's got the guard, he's got the sweeps, he's got the jiu-jitsu. Probably welcomes getting taken down. It'll be an interesting matchup, because outside of that, Drickus ain't going to get a shot anytime soon. Imarvov, yeah, he'd be a problem. He would. He's not easy to beat. The hand speed last time against Berhalio was
impressive,
ridiculous. Strickland. Strickland's talking shit, calling for a fight with Khamzat. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Is he? We're not going to see that. It's Hernandez and RDR. If RDR is victorious. Brian and Harrington, I've got RDR. Do I say decision? No. It's 5 rounds. I think 5 rounds RDR catches him in some form of submission.
He highlighted RDR's dangerous jiu-jitsu and willingness to fight off his back, something that could create real problems for Chimaev if they ever meet in the cage. Speaking of Chimaev, Chael Sonnen and Daniel Cormier recently gave their thoughts on a potential matchup between Alex Pereira and Khamzat Chimaev, and both agreed on one thing: Pereira's size could be a game changer.
Who do you think will win, Chimaev or Pereira?
Well, geez, Pierre is so big. I do think that size matters at a certain point. Chimaev would be a problem in certain positions. But ultimately, Pierre's size, even if he went down once or he went down twice, that's a big man to drag to the canvas for 25 straight minutes. I think, I'm not putting him at the same weight. I'm putting it what they weigh right now. Pierre would beat him.
Yeah, that's a tough fight to choose between the two. But man, size has to matter at some point, right? It might not matter from 170 to 185, but it's got to matter at some point. When you start jumping 20 pounds, Chael, and you mean like a 185-pound guy that may weigh 210 to a freaking 205 guy that may weigh 245, that weighs 235 on fight night, it's got to matter at some point when it comes to size. You know, it has to matter, but I can't pick the fights on.
While both acknowledged Khamzat's elite grappling, they believe Pereira's physicality would make it a tough matchup for him. Khamzat Chimaev has finally picked sides in a hypothetical showdown between Arman Tsarukyan and Ilia Topuria. Chimaev has trained with both fighters at different times, but during a recent interview with Al-Baghdadi, he didn't hesitate when asked about whose corner he'd be in. According to Chimaev, if Arman asked him to be in his corner, he wouldn't be able to say no. This is interesting because both Tsarukyan and Topuria are rising stars in their divisions, and a matchup between them would be fireworks. Chimaev's support could add an extra layer of intrigue if that fight ever happens.
Тебе тяжело будет в том плане, что находиться в чем-то углу, да, в этом плане чуть неудобно будет.
Нет, как сказать, если... Потому что я дружу с Арманом, я близкий, я близкий друг. А тот парень, я тоже с ним общаюсь, как сказать, не близко дружу, хороший парень. Я знаю его, хорошо знаю, его брата тоже хорошо знаю. Очень хорошие ребята, не в октагоне жизни, они очень адекватные ребята. Да, в принципе, все грузинаны такие добряки. Знаешь, я со всеми с ними дружу. Всегда был на хороших отношениях. Если Арман попросит, конечно, я не смогу отказать, потому что он мой друг, а своему другу в помощи никогда не отказываю. Поэтому я не думаю, даже если Гурам туда, в тот угол другой поедет, и мы, конечно, не будем друг друга обижаться, это спорт. Мы и так в зале друг друга бьем.
And finally, some nostalgic but exciting news: Anderson Silva vs. Chris Weidman 3 is officially set, but this time in a boxing ring. The legendary rivalry will continue on November 14th in Miami, on the undercard of Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis, and it'll be streamed live on Netflix. The bout is scheduled for 6 rounds at heavyweight, 205 pounds. Silva, now 50, will get a chance to avenge his 2 UFC losses to Weidman, one of which ended with that infamous leg break in 2013. This fight marks a rare trilogy that has spanned MMA and now boxing, and it's already generating major buzz. Who wins this one, the legend Silva, or the man who ended his reign, Chris Weidman? Drop your predictions below. That's all for today's update, guys. From Khamzat's corner pick to Pereira's boxing ambitions and Silva vs. Weidman 3, the MMA world is buzzing with storylines. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for daily MMA news and all the biggest stories from around the fight world. See you in the next one.